That's perfectly obvious. It's like 15 minutes gets you 15%. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows that. When we deal with Amazon, when we deal with Starbucks, we're seeing teamwork, and we interpret that as leadership correctly, and we understand that that's what it is. Trust. Now, it's a good bit more complicated than that, and I'll come back to that. But while you're thinking about that, I'll invite you to come with me on a tour de force of leadership and teamwork. The time is June 2006. My naval component commander had invited me to stand in for the President of the United States. And my other officers were standing in for other people. And the exercise was a maritime extraction of the President and the First Lady, the Secretary of State, the National Security Advisor, and 2 others off the island in the event of a national security emergency. Read terrorist attack, right? And this was a classified mission. Nobody was to know that it was happening. And even I didn't know that much about it. We did know that Barney, the presidential dog, would not be part of the evacuation party. But other than that, we did not know a lot of details. We're in the boats, the SEALs jump in, and the boats turn and head back out to sea, into the rain, into the fog, and the thunder and the lightning. And we go a long way. We're out of sight of land almost immediately. And 20 minutes later, I know I'm all in with this, right? We're way out of sight of land. There's no swimming back. And that's when the motor on my Zodiac quit. I become aware that the captain of the other boat, which is a little ways off, is up like this, and he's frantically pointing at the back of my boat, giving it this number. And my bosun then turns, peers over the back of the boat, turns to me, and says the only words he said in the whole exercise: "Mr. President, we are sinking." So he's pumping frantically, and another SEAL is bailing frantically, and the rest of us move up to the front of the boat. It's a pretty sporty afternoon, right? And at that point, I mean, in retrospect, it seems funny. At the time, maybe not so funny. One of the junior officers gets a little excited, and you can kind of feel his emotions beginning to break through. And over all the noise, he's asking questions in a very loud voice. He's getting a little bit shrill. Are we lost? Are we really going to sink? What happens if the back of this boat swamps? Which was an entirely legitimate question that had occurred to me as well. If it happens, who's gonna pick us up? And the bosun on my boat puts out his hand, calms the guy down a little bit, and he says, "Trust my team. Trust my team." The trust that a leader must have in himself is about his own vision and his own judgment. It's not the arrogance that seduces some people into thinking that they have to be the smartest person in the room. The leader's got to trust his own team. He's got to believe in their competence, their integrity, and their loyalty. If he does not trust his own people, he will forever be a captive of doubt and micromanagement. Micromanagement is the child of doubt. He will never be able to delegate responsibility or authority as long as he doubts his own team. The easiest part, by far, of leader integrity is knowing what to do or what not to do. That's easy. Just ask your mother. It's the first lesson everybody in politics learns. If you can't explain it to your mother, don't do it. If you don't want to see it on the evening news, don't do it. It's surprising how many politicians forget that lesson. Knowing what to do from an ethical standpoint as the leader is the easy part. But the really important point about that is the effect that it has throughout the organization. And you've seen it, and I've seen it dozens of times. Organizations begin to take on the personal characteristics of their leaders immediately. Within months, the employees themselves had turned the company around and put it on the road to profitability. By that strategy of internal communication about the ongoing operations of the company, he had created a team where the core values were internalized. Everybody knew what was going on. I hope this story about the SEALs gives you some ideas about leadership. I hope you can incorporate it into your own theory about leadership. I hope that your theory will include integrity, communication, and flexibility. And if it does, your team will be just as effective and just as strong as SEAL Team Bravo. Thank you so much.